Welcome to the channel and Medieval Kingdom Wars. This is a real-time strategy game developed by a small indie developer called Revere World Studios. The game was released on the 3rd of January 2019 if you're watching this in the future. However, prior to the release there was about a year when this game was in early access on Steam, and that's when I first spotted this game. And if any of you guys follow the channel, you'll be aware that over the course of the last year I've made various update videos and also ran a couple of short campaigns. Unfortunately, due to pressure of time, I haven't really been able to look at this game for a couple of months, so I'm a little bit out of date. I know the basics, but obviously many things have changed, and so what I want to do is start this campaign. It's going to be a mixture of getting started, learning the new mechanics, talking about the game. I'm not sure how long the campaign will run because there's a very good chance I'll probably get killed in the very early stages, but I think I just want to share my experiences of the game with you guys. I'll start with an overview of this initial screen. At the top here you've got a tutorial. I've played the tutorial and I think I actually did a couple of videos on it back in November, and if you're new to the game I certainly recommend playing that tutorial. It takes you over the mechanics of fighting, including the sea battles, which are quite rare, also about building up your economy. The campaign I will come back to because that's what we're doing. You've got skirmish mode here, which is a way to practice fighting. You can either fight against the AI or other players. There is a kind of multiplayer aspect that's been attached to the game. And the other thing I want to say before I get into this is the developers have a very high level of interaction with the community. An example of that is at the top here where they have the poll. There's also this bit down the side here where it says news, and you can see update 1.107. But there's also, when we get on to, if you go into skirmish mode or in, you will see there's a way you can actually interact with even with them directly. They're very proactive and they do take the feedback very seriously. So if any of you guys buy the game and you think there's something wrong or you've got a suggestion for the game, feel free to contact the developers via the chat and they will take on board what you say. So here we are guys, we're going to do a new campaign, and you can see you can have up to 9 concurrent campaigns at any one time. What you do is to select a campaign, you just click on there. This brings you into what you could say a faction selection screen, or maybe I should say kingdom selection screen. And as you can see, it consists of 2 parts. Now across the bottom you've got all the playable kingdoms in the game, and it may not look a very impressive list when you first look at it, because what it does is the current map, I'm hoping that they do expand it at least a little bit more in the future, consists of the Western Europe up as far, if you draw an imaginary line down through the centre of Germany, hitting the Adriatic just east of Venice. That is the current playable area of the map, and the kingdoms that are put on here, roughly the state of Europe around 1338, when mainly when the England was fighting France, but you also had various other kingdoms around. Now a big difference in this game than from say Total War is that although you are going to select a kingdom, we're going to be playing France for a reason that I will explain. You cannot play as the King of France. The King of France is actually a non-playing character, simply because the concept behind the game is you start off as a lord within the kingdom, and that gives you 2 directions to go in your gameplay, which gives a certain amount of replayability. You can either go and undermine the king and become King of France yourself, or you can support the king in his wars against England and anyone else that comes along and become a powerful lord under the king and still get a good deal of satisfaction from the game. What you need to do is choose which lord you want to play. Now, but what I will say guys is that if you are completely new to the game, what you want to do is always select a lord that has a city, because the way it works is all lords start with a number of settlements or cities, but you've also got the ones where it says bracket city is walled cities. So you've got this here, but you've got this guy here, John the Valois, only starts with Chinon and Tours, so he starts with 2 minor cities, or towns is probably the correct name for them, which isn't bad, but until you know the mechanics of the game, it's a bit risky there. And if you want a really challenging start, is to play jolly old Portugal, wherever they are. Portugal, you can see here, Portugal starts next to hostile neighbours. None of their lords start with a walled city, and life is interesting if you play as Portugal. In fact, Portugal's often the first kingdom that gets wiped out when the game starts playing. So if you want a real challenge, Portugal is there, and you can see you've got a mixture here. You've got Orleans is the default start for France. And in fact, it's almost the default kingdom lord to play when you start the game. So if you really want a pretty easy start and learn the mechanics of the game, play Orleans, because you start with a really powerful city, a couple of minor settlements. You're far enough inside France to build up a kingdom before you go out and pick your wars. So effectively you can pick your wars. But what we're going to play as is Toulouse, where we start with 4 minor settlements: Albi, Alc, Gascogne and Montpellier. Wow, that's quite big. There we go. Rims, yeah. Yeah, we're going to play as Toulouse for a very simple reason that I'll explain once we get on the campaign map. Now, I'm going to start the campaign. There is a video introduction, but I'll warn you guys in advance that there is quite the music with the video introduction is quite overpowering over the commentary. They've never got round to balancing that correctly, but if you really want to do it, you can read the words at the bottom of the screen. So we're just going to get started going.
The Capetian kings of France were humiliated in 1154 when their vassals, the Plantagenets, ascended the English throne and took numerous rich provinces with them. Now the house of Capet is dead, and the house of Valois has risen through the family intrigues of King Philip VI. Their goal is, as ever, to forge France anew, and perhaps even rebuild the fabled empire of Charlemagne, with the hope in their pocket and law on their side. How can they fail? As a minor noble in service to your king, your first assignment is to rise through the ranks of the kingdom. Assemble your team of advisors and improve your hamlets. Be prepared to defend your holdings against raids by foreign lords. Soon,
there we are, guys. Here we are. We are on the campaign map. This is an introduction, and I'm going to click on minor noble. I'm to be king, because what it actually does is it says here, quiet lord, even the walls have ears. It's true that our ruler is not loved. Should you rise against the king in open rebellion, you would need to completely defeat him down to the last hamlet. Once the king falls, the lord of the highest renown in the kingdom will be crowned to make sure that you are that lord. You will need to win 12 battles to acquire that kind of renown. I know what I must do. Well, yeah, I'll just click that. And I'm just going to pause the game at the top here. This is where I'll give you guys a bit of a tour of the interface. That brief explanation shows how that you are going to rise up if you want to become King of France. Effectively, what you've got to do is build up your renown by being a good lord, expanding, probably becoming the most powerful lord in the realm. And then you've actually got to go head to head with the king to win. And then by killing the king, you've got the most renowns, then you get crowned King of France. That's the rules of the way it goes. And now I'm going to give you guys a quick tour around the screen. I think we'll start over here. Where it says chat here, you can actually go in there. You can see someone's already, use that when you press F. So you've got the area there. I think that's the moderator talking. So you can actually chat with other people online when you're actually doing things. And then on this top left here, starting at the top, what you've got is that's the number of silver that you've got. I suppose you could call it ducats, obviously they call it silver. Below that is the amount of available taxes for your whole kingdom. It says there's 507. So you have to click that to collect it, but be aware that if you do that, that you will lose 15% of it in taxes to the king. There's a way around that, we'll explain there. Next one down here, it says how much silver you're generating per month, and it gives you a tooltip there. It says including certain buildings like blacksmith, barn, mines, etc. add to income. Also, economic units like serf livestock also add to monthly income. But of course, if you build military units and buildings, that actually decreases your income. And effectively, it says here, military units and most military buildings have an upkeep cost, and units levels do not affect there. And then at the bottom is a new feature. It says trade. Monthly income derived from trade agreements with other nations. Income is based on the number of sites. That's interesting. That's completely new since I think the last time I played. Then in the center, you've got the date. The start date is July 1336. The wheel here shows the season. The map does change according to the seasons. You've got the game speed here and the pause button. You've got this over map of Europe view here. We're starting down here. I think it's probably best to close that to start with, because at the moment we're going to be working on this area here. Now the scroll range isn't brilliant, guys. I wish they'd increase it a little bit, especially the zoom out, and well, in both directions, to be honest, guys. I'd like to be able to zoom in and see the map a bit more, and I think it'd be quite useful if you could zoom out a little bit more. Now the 4 characters down in the bottom right here are your advisors. So I'll just run through them. The Chancellor here is your diplomacy, and diplomacy is quite restricted at the moment. I think they may need to add a bit more there, but say I want to be nice to the King of France, King Philip VI. I've got an option there to send a gift. I can basically upset him, and basically that affects your standing. If your standing drops too low, say attacking other lords, because there's a consequence to build up, become a major lord, you've got to attack them, and that reduces your standing. If your standing gets too long, the king declares that you're exile, and then everyone turns on you. It also gives you an overview of who you're at war with. So at the moment we're at war with England, Burgundy, and the Holy Roman Empire. We've got a ceasefire with Austria. We've got trade agreements with Scotland, Castile, and Ireland. We've got a defensive alliance with the papacy, military alliances with Scotland, Castile. So we've got friends. And then this one above here, it says gift territories. So if you really want to do something, you can do it, because you can give it to another lord. I mean, like this. So if you've got a territory that's near another lord, I mean, technically you can do it to another kingdom if you want. I mean, it's the go. So if, say, you want to go to England, you just send them a rude remark. So that's the martial screen consists of 2 parts. The top part is split again in half. What this is, that you can then go here, and this will locate the armies that you go to. And I think it will only take it there. But this screen becomes more important as your domain increases, so you can find the armies. So it says here, locate army.
It is a matter for swords and drums, my lord.
And of course, more importantly, when you get attacked, the attacking army will show up in red here, which will help you locate who's coming to attack you, because you normally get some kind of warning. Down the bottom, you've got the victory conditions. You've got here, you can usurp the kingdom and win territorial claims. You can eliminate England, your nation's historic rivals. You become emperor, conquer half of the nations of Europe, and European Union, unite all of Europe under. I think that's a bit controversial at the moment, given what's going on. Now, the steward is in charge of research. Now, research in this game is a little bit different. I personally think they need to rework this screen a little bit, because it's not exactly completely intuitive. But once you get the hang of it, it does make sense after a fashion. I mean, it consists of 3 pages. And the way it actually works is that you go from left to right across it, following the chain. And the way you check the research is you click on it, it freezes this screen. So then you can then go over these areas here. Now, something I want to emphasize, guys, and probably the best way to explain it is research in this game works on 2 levels. You've got the top level research here. You've also got what's called local research. If I can find what I'm looking for. As I say, this isn't the most intuitive of screens. There we are. So see where it says here, serfdom, hamlet fair, carpentry traditions, town watch. These are local. It says here, centralized census makes taking using the town hall as a research center, unlocks all town hall application research. If I go across here, I can find it. What you will see here is trade, not trade, where is it? Yeah. You can see here. So if I, these are the equivalent research, but they then work at a global level. So the research works at 2 levels, if that makes sense, guys. Now, to do research, you've got to gather these unique items at the top. Now, settlements produce them. You can buy them here with silver from up here. And you can also, by winning battles, you get random ones of here. So your research is driven by gathering these up in various ways. The other thing I will say about research, guys, is that, in fact, I don't know if I can actually do a research. I wanted to unlock something straight away. That's blast furnaces. That's, I think this is the blacksmith. This is 6 paper and 2. Yes, I think what I'll do is, just to demonstrate this, guys, is what you do is click. You've got to be a bit careful. If you right click, you sell. If you left click, you buy. So be careful when you come up here. If you're just looking at this, don't click, just mouse over. If you click, you've bought it. You can see the prices there. I think we're just going to do there. What else do I need for the blast furnace? You need 2 more of these. Now you can see as soon as you can research something, it will come up like this. Actually, I can do 2 levels of research here. So, and what you do is, as soon as you click here, you can craft it instantaneously. That's consumed. So you don't have to wait for research. Once you've got this, the research is instantaneous. And then on the end here, you've got
a man of letters needed, my lord.
Here you've got the scribe. You can see how many people are currently online, and you can make friends. You can add friends, people like that. And on this side, what happens is you get the messages, because as the game plays, you will see messages appear up here. If you think you've missed a message, you can come here and take a look like that. I think that's enough of an introduction to the interface. Let's get down to some little bit of gameplay. And what we've actually got, and this is the reason why I've chose Toulouse, we've got the English over here representing the fact that the English held territories in France around 1336. Then it's Bordeaux, and you can see they've got a couple of settlements here, so that gives us a couple of early targets. Also means we'll get into a bit of war. We've also got down here, over here, currently we are at peace with them. You can see the little doves above here. I think this is Aragon, and of course right over here you've got poor little Portugal. I think Portugal starts down in this corner here with Lisbon and that area there. So if you want a fairly balanced battle, Toulouse is a good start. As I said in the introduction, if you want to learn the mechanics in a relatively safe area, Orleans is a good one, because you've got other settlements around you. So and you've also got Paris here, which is the home of the king, Philip VI. Orleans is a fairly good place to start, just to learn the mechanics. Anyway, let's get down here. This is our army. It's not very big. It's made up with serfs. You've got to do the research to unlock and also build military buildings. So our army is not very big at the moment. It's got a siege there. And this is Toulouse. Now, quick tip here, guys. This just collect the tax to start with. What you do is you click here, and then you just go through like this. If you click them each one at a time, what you will find is that you get the full amount, so that gets us back to that money there. You can see in this city you can create an army. Creating armies is not that expensive, but bear in mind that you've still got the upkeep costs. You can recruit units, but at the moment you can see we can't recruit much, because the only way you can recruit units is by having military buildings. And over here you've got the build slots that's associated with Gascon, which is down here. But if I come to Toulouse, you can see Toulouse is a bigger. Now there's a difference between small settlements and large settlements. The small settlements can be upgraded. You can see Gascon is level 2. It can be upgraded to level 5. and that's the top. If I come to Montpellier's level 1. I think what I'm going to do is upgrade this straight away because that gives me the extra slot there. Now Toulouse,
for swords and drums,
Toulouse is a level 6 city, and that's as big as it gets. That's the number of build slots you've got within the city. Now you can build by paying money, but I would not recommend that for Toulouse, simply because Toulouse is a big city. We'll be going in there in a minute, and you don't, until you've really got familiar with the layout of the city, I suppose there is a way, you don't know where these buildings are going to appear. Where, say, this settlement here is not quite so bad because you've only got the 5 build slots if you include the manor. The manor's by default, and therefore there is a quick way of doing it. With the small settlements, the placement of the buildings is not quite so important. I think I'm just going to upgrade the city again. I think we're just going to start the game playing, actually. I think I've rambled on too long. You can increase it, but I'm going to play at 1 at the moment because I'm obviously going to be talking about various things, and things can move forward fairly quickly. And I've got a little bit of cash, and what I want to do is I want to build a barn, and also I want to build a storehouse here. Now, because you're paying silver, you're not using the resources within the settlement, and that's quite important. You can see the message now appearing up there, guys. If I come to here, you can see the message there. And I think what we're going to do is start by going into this, because this settlement's going to be on the front line, and we're going to enter now. And this is the city. There's distinctive maps, but they're not all unique, but they are distinctive. And the reason I've got this, and what you need to do is find the storehouse. One of the irritating things with the game can be trying to find where things are. What I would suggest is in this map that you bump that up first. And the first thing I'm going to buy here is a cart, because what I want to do is get my serfs out collecting wood. You want to get your serfs out doing the wood collecting straight away.
Some of thy workers are doing nothing, my lord.
Yes, thank you. And the other thing I want to do, this is a bit like Age of Empires. You want to get a few things built and get some extra serfs. And if you click on the building and then put a right click, you can put a rally point in. You can see the garrison here. Now the reason I built the cart is that if you tell these guys to collect wood, they will come out here and then walk back. I mean, they will collect wood up here, but I want them out being as efficient as possible. And I've actually scored quite well here with these buildings in the right place. Now the next thing I want to do is get in an iron camp. I think what we can do is train some chickens. Now it's important, if you should look in the bottom right there, you will see at the moment we've got 9 of 30. You can't have more than 30 units in a city. That includes your livestock, your serfs, and your defensive troops. So you do need to be aware of that, guys. And I think what we're going to do is just put we've got another settlement here. It'd be really nice if there was some way that you could flip through these. Have I used up all the slots already? Okay, maybe I have. And what we're going to do is build a stone camp there.
A new structure is ready, my lord.
You guys click wood. What that should do is get the wood going. And up at the top here is a quick select. So if you go here, and what I tend to do in this early game is I just push these guys out. The other thing you can do is if you've got them all selected, if you press control and number, that adds these guys to a group. Groups are quite useful in fighting the battles, because one of the drawbacks with the battle mechanic here is because these units don't have unit cards and they look all a little bit familiar, it's quite easy to get confused with the units. So we've now got this economy up and running. The next thing you want to do is start trying to level these up as fast as possible. So if you level these up, we've got a few more resources. We're going to level up the barn as well. We'll upgrade the barn. And the other thing you can also do here is level up this here, because this actually makes everything a bit more efficient as well. What I'm going to show you now, guys, is it the... No, this one has got the... What did I trade? Oh, it's the barn, wasn't it? Here. So if I now click on implement local technology, see, this is the equivalent now of the local. So what we can do there, we don't have any cows yet. Breeding livestock, so I think if we then, but you can see this research actually takes time. And what we can do is just click off that. And I think we're just raising some pigs here.
Thou does not have sufficient resources.
You don't have enough resources for that. I think what I'm going to do is just do the upgrade these again. I think I've got enough. Yep. So this is upgrading quite nicely, and I think just to wind off this visit to the settlement, I think I've got enough wood. I'm going to upgrade this straight away. Now, this upgrade is a bit curious because all you get is towers. Eventually, when you build a stockade, so although that says you're building a stockade, in fact you're not really building a stockade, you're building towers. And as far as I know, it wasn't unless it's been changed. I think once you've researched the siege equipment, I think you can put ballistas in these. So we can now got the city. It's a shame you can't really zoom out and show the overall idea of the city. I think just go and see if we can get up 144 wood. Yeah, we can just about. That's an iron mine, so maybe we'll just take that up to level 4. And we're just going to go back to the world campaign map. So we've now got this settlement here. What I'm going to do is just put my army there. It's not the actually.
God save the
actually, I think with the army there. And what I'm going to do is from Toulouse, I'm going to bring across a couple of these guys, make this army a little bit stronger. It's going to make Toulouse a little bit unhappy. I think with this, I just want to make this army a bit stronger, just in case the English kick off. Again, unlike Total War and other strategy games, the army composition is a little bit odd in the sense that you have serfs and you have chickens, and they're not battle chickens, guys. What they are is that what I will do is just move a pig over as well. Actually, it's just no, it's not going to let me move it. The reason for this is that a lot of when you fight battles, they're like siege battles. You have a siege camp and you can replace troops on the battlefield as long as you've got the serfs to build the buildings and the livestock to feed your armies. So that's the reason why these actually have livestock in them. And I just want to check Toulouse. Toulouse is not that happy, but I think I can fix that by just reducing the taxes a little bit. We will recruit some troops because our next visit is going to be Toulouse. We've got a little bit of cash coming in. Porto says there, Porto Kingdom of Portugal has fallen to the army of the Kingdom of Castile. That is something that's very common. So if you want the ultimate challenge in this game, try and play Portugal as a Porto. And it is tough. I've tried it a couple of times, guys, and it is an interesting concept.
It is a matter for swords and drums,
my
lord.
Here. What you see here is a number here, which is the strength, but you can see that this army is currently losing money, but we're just losing a smidge at the moment. We can fix that straight away, because what we're going to go in is we're going to go into Toulouse now. And you can see above here is the resources that are being produced. So over time, your towns and cities will produce resources. Well, what we're going to do now is, well, I'm just going to collect a bit of tax, and then we're just going to go into here. Right, guys, I'm just going to pause while I give. No, actually, I won't pause. What I'll do is I'm just going to allocate my serfs.
Can we get new baits?
Swing those axes, fellas.
I'm just going to get.
Wash me hands first.
Are they both collecting? Now, it's a little bit odd when you've got the walled city. I mean, I can't say, it's a shame you can't really zoom out a long way. The fact that these actually tear down buildings for wood, I'm not sure why, but there. Now a brief explanation. Actually, let's start with a tour. Toulouse is quite an interesting city. I mean, a lot of the cities, I mean, there are some duplicates, but generally the maps are pretty good. You can see we've got an entrance here, and of course what we can do is, even though we can't upgrade the overall city, what we can do is upgrade the way the city is defending, because we obviously all these walls can be updated to stone over time. But what you will see is, if I rotate the map a little bit, we rotate the map this way, you will see, if I on this dot here, this is the town manor. This is what we've got to defend. When the manor falls, that's when you lose. But you can see round here is building plots, but we've also got other building plots over here. So when you're planning your defences, you need to put the buildings down in the correct place. And this is what I was saying, guys, is you don't really want to build the buildings in the wrong place. And we've got one down here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a iron camp there. And we're going to put a stone camp out here. It's going to be a little bit of a pain when I start, because I've got to remember where they are to upgrade them. But because I've put them out the way, it means down here with the manse itself, I can use this for other buildings. And what I would like now is to get in the farm, build a barn. We don't have the wood for that yet, so I'm just going to jack that up a little bit. And of course what we'll be looking at is to build some defensive buildings here. We'll probably put an archer there. I may not. Let me just rotate the map again a bit like that. We may put a building up there, but what with this bastion, when you're attacked, what you really need is your military buildings as close to there. So when you're producing new buildings, you can actually reinforce them.
Thy workers have completed a building.
Yep, thank you. No, don't do that. I want a barn first. I think what we'll do is we'll put the barn in here. Yep, we've got the resources for that now. Now you don't want to really rush for your recruitment capability. What you want to do is try and upgrade these guys a bit. Yeah, we've got some wood for this. And we're just going to get this built up. And I think that's all we can really do for the moment here. I mean, eventually we will probably build a storehouse in here to improve this here, because the storehouse will add more there. So I think we're looking good here, guys. I would like to.
A new structure is ready, my lord.
I'd like to just get that up. And we've got a little bit of things. I'll just get some chickens and some pigs in there. Just let those train up first before we go. And I think just to show you, I don't know if I've got enough stone for this, but we'll give it a go, guys. Now we don't have quite, we've just got enough now, so what I'm going to do is just show you how the walls upgrade. And we've got 1300. And you can't use silver to upgrade the walls, so you've got to build the infrastructure to do this. And you can see what actually happens is that it all changes and builds up. Pretty cool actually, guys. I quite like watching the animation here. And just turn around here. And what you can do is upgrade the gatehouse eventually.
This be the gate.
And you can also put in your siege defense weapons and all that. What I tend to do is I build backwards this way, but my main defense weapons are built into this area here. And I think that's about it. Let me just have a quick look to see if I can get in. I mean, we could. I mean, my inclination is to build. I mean, we could get our first military building in if we got the resources for it. What I tend to do is always build the archery range first, and that will. I mean, I don't know if I can get a second. And once you seem to build that one, then you get there. No, we don't have the stone for that. So we're just going to have to just get down here. We upgrade the iron camp. Yeah. And where's the stone camp? The stone camp's up over here, isn't it? So I'm just going to upgrade that.
Thou dost not have sufficient resources.
Okay. Just going to let that run until I've got that so I can upgrade this again. What you want to do is get these up to level 5 as fast as possible, guys. So we're just going to do this, upgrade this. There we are. So that's upgraded. Let's get back to the main map. And if I now click on here,
business calls thee now, your grace.
what you'll see if I recruit from Toulouse, you can see I can now recruit French bowmen. And one of the downsides here is you can't get the stats when you build this, which is a little bit annoying. But it means we can recruit some more French bowmen. So we've got peasant archers, we've now got some more bowmen, we've got some billmen.
This is a matter for swords and drums,
And you
my
can
lord.
recruit to the army, you can also recruit directly here as well. So once you've got this, rather than using resources and food within the settlement, what you can do is just do this so we can actually improve this garrison a little bit like that as well. But we've got to keep an eye on the silver. And let's have a quick look here. This is area, we've got one slot here. I'm half inclined at the moment to maybe put a swordsman in there, because that's actually better, but maybe we're just going to let that run for a little while and come back here. I mean, we can't run our general round here. Here level 2, I think what we can do is just go in and do this the hard way. I'm just going to drop in here. Again, we just need to get these guys.
Of course, your worship. Get hammering, lads.
Get these guys
Ready
out.
to get dirty.
Up the speed up a bit.
Do we get fed this time?
It's a little bit irritating that
Get
you've got to
chopping on
keep
those
resetting the
trees.
speed all the time.
Looking for a fight, we are.
Get these guys out of the
Let's take a walk,
settlement
lads.
so that
The hunt
I
has
can
begun.
see what's going on. And of course, and what I want to do is just see where the build slots are. There's one there, so I think we'll get the iron mine there. I want to keep this in the center for things that I actually really want. I think we're going to have to compromise a little bit. I don't know if I can build the stone camp. 250, we've got just barely enough. I'm just going to let that build up and let these guys get going. I mean, we could train another serf, we've got the food for it. And we'll just, well, put him over here. He's close enough for this. Ah, there it is. Typical. Now I've built it, I'll find it.
A new structure is ready, my lord.
Yep, thank you. Got the iron mine. We've got the wood. But I think
On to work, my
I
lord.
think I want to build a storehouse. No, what I'm going to do is use another way to get
Thy
a
workers have
cart.
completed a building.
I think we can upgrade that.
Some of thy workers are doing nothing, my lord.
Yep,
Honored.
let's get in
for
here.
sure, my
And
lord.
click that. We have enough for a barn. Nope. Anyway, we've got that one started, guys. So what we're going to do is just get back out here. And what I'm going to do is come to here and recruit a unit. How much does it cost me to recruit a horse cart? 98, yeah. We're going to recruit a horse
A
cart.
bloody business calls thee now, your grace. This is a matter for swords and drums, my lord.
Why can't I select that army?
Well met, my lord.
And what we're going to do is from here, we're going to pinch a cart. And then this army is
A
going
bloody
to march
business calls thee now, your
down
grace.
here. Have a quick look at this. So this is a garrison of 34. This is probably going to be our first war. But check that up a little bit. So we've actually got, yeah, Portugal Kingdom's got, oh, looks like Portugal's fighting back. That's great. Nope, wrong way, wrong one.
Tis a matter for swords and drums,
Transfer
my lord.
units. We're going to drop that into there. That means we don't have to build a...
Well met, my lord.
So we're going to come out here. And... oops, you can see the seasons just changed now. So now I want to attack there. They've got a defensive army of 43.
A bloody business calls thee
We've
now,
got an army of 80. But I think I would like to get a few more resources than that. I think I'd like to get a few more units first before we do anything. I mean, it'd be really nice if you could see the resources inside of the city. I think what we're going to do, guys, is I'm just going to go back into Toulouse. We're just going to drop back into here. And you can see everything starts. Just check the speed back up again. And what I'd like to do now is build a barracks here, but we need 460 stone. So where's the stone? That's the iron mine. The stone mine's over here. So can I get this upgraded? Yes.
You cannot afford
Oh,
that,
no.
sire.
Can now. Just want to jack this up so that I can get the stone flowing in. I think also I can upgrade the mats. It's going to take a little bit of stone, but that. Yep, I think we're just going to upgrade the mats a bit. When we can get French levies and peasant archers here, these are your basic troops, but what I want is to build this up here. So how far off are we? 460. We'll be there fairly soon, guys. And just to go up and show you guys. Actually, what I could do is build this here, actually. I think we're going to build the swordsman here. I mean, it's a bit of a risk in the sense that if we lose this, then we will lose the ability to recruit swordsmen. But I think that would be okay. Let's just see if we can... I think the other thing I would like to do is... I don't really want to upgrade that for the moment. I think we've got enough. We can train another archer. And what we're going to do is just come up here. We've now got the ability to build a barracks here. So we're just going to build the barracks here. And that means we will then have the ability to recruit the troops. And we don't have a lot in the way of food. So I'm just going to iron mine. There's the barn. Actually, what we could do is get another serf now.
Can't do it, sire.
Oh,
Not
great.
enough resources.
Great, thank you. Messed that up, didn't I? How much do I need for another serf? 152. Right. I think we can do this the quick way, guys. What I want to do is recruit a serf so that I can set them to gathering food. So what we can do is recruit units. Peasant archers. A serf's 112 gold. I think we can afford that. And I'm just going to dive back into the city. Right, we should have a guy who's idle.
boats?
Right, this guy's idle, so we're just going to task
From
him
the
to,
Lord's table.
task him to livestock. What he should find is the chickens and start chopping the chickens down. And that should improve the food situation. Looks like we've got a bit of a situation with happiness, so we may have to reduce the taxes. What I could do is, because I built a blacksmith and we've got a slot over here, 180 wood, 180 iron. Yep. What I'm going to do is build a blacksmith here. It will also allow me to upgrade the search, so I'm just going to build this, guys. Yeah. I just wish it would remember what you sent them to. So we're just going to build this, guys. So this is just over a minute to go.
Thy workers have
There we are.
completed a
So we've
building.
now built this, and of course we can level it up. We can level the blacksmith up. Might as well use this up to get this up as high as we can. And we can't implement any technology yet. I'm sorry. But what this blacksmith will do is actually improve things, demolish the building, implement local technology. Why have we got to implement oh, it's got 2 levels of technology. And what we can do now is we've got a little bit more here. Improves chopping, increasing wood, rock and mineral extraction, stone and mining tools. I think what I'm going to do is go... We've got plenty of wood. We're maxed out on the wood, so we need this. And in fact, I think what I really need is a storehouse. Sorry about this, guys. And where's the storehouse? 200 wood. Yeah, we can just drop the storehouse in as well, because that will increase our capacity here. So we've got plenty of stone. Actually, what I could do is no, we need the iron of this. Okay. There's the iron camp. Can we? Nope, can't upgrade that just yet. So I'm just going to let the storehouse build. That will increase this capacity, so that will allow me to store up the stone. Actually, I think I can just come out now. What used to happen in the early days of the games, I don't know if it still applies, but by coming out you get an instant build. It finishes instantaneously, which used to be a little bit of a feature of when you wanted to upgrade the city very quickly. So we've now got a iron mine, we've got the blacksmith, we've got the centre, and I can't see the storehouse. Don't tell me I've broken it, they've fixed it. Haha. Blacksmith, enter storehouse, there it is there. So you can see the positioning, and of course we can upgrade this very quickly. In fact, I think what we'll do is, got a bit of cash, and I think just going to upgrade the iron mine to level 5. We need the iron there. We've got the tax to collect. I'm just going to flip through here, collect the taxes. I mean, it's a little bit irritating to do this, guys, but at the same time, you've got always, if you don't want to do it, you just take 15% hit. So that gives me the money. And of course, what it means now is that I can come in here, and from Toulouse, we've now got the option to recruit some billmen and some basemen. I think we get a couple of basemen and billmen. Just build this army up. And we don't have siege equipment. We don't need siege equipment because we're going to build, not building up there. I think what we could do is just get another. That builds this army up to 136. That makes it a very easy option to take these guys down. But I've just noticed the time. This is where I'm going to leave it, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you found it interesting. In the next part, we will go on the offensive and start to take. Well, we certainly want Portugal first. I mean, it's only a level 1 settlement there. The other thing also we need is to work on Montpellier, because I don't think we've done anything in Montpellier at all. And I've got Albi over here as well, isn't it? That's mine as well, I think. Yeah. So I need to do that. So I need to start building up these 2 settlements here as well, because at the moment they're all empty.
War, that son of hell, hath been declared upon us.
Someone's declared war. The war is France has declared war on Austria, so we've now got a new enemy. This is where I'm going to leave it, guys. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Hope you found it interesting. And until the next time, whatever you do, enjoy your gaming.